Hello everybody, this is Mr. Rob and welcome back to episode number 7 of MyGM Mode here on WWE 2k22. In this episode we are fresh off of our very first pay-per-view on the channel in the series where we had WrestleMania Backlash, where I thought we put together a pretty solid show, but we didn't really do much to close the gap between us and Raw as they continue to dominate over us by 80,000 fans. Obviously, the big story coming out of last show is that Roman Reigns has regained his Universal Championship, and he also sustained an injury for 2 weeks, so we won't see him in action for a couple of weeks. But also, Natalya won the SmackDown Women's Championship. Her story or Cinderella run continues when she knocked off Charlotte Flair. But this is currently where our roster stands, and very interesting point I want to bring up in this screen is that our second most popular superstar is Montez Ford. Now, I drafted Montez Ford a little bit in the later rounds, so I thought, maybe we could push Montez as a singles performer, and he's starting to get to that point. Other than the champion, he is the most popular man on the roster, so hopefully we can take advantage of that and see what we can do this episode. Hopefully we can build another solid show. So if you're excited for this one, make sure you drop a like and you subscribe down below, especially if you want more MyGM content here on the channel. But we got to try to keep the momentum going after WrestleMania Backlash as we build towards the next pay-per-view being TLC, Tables, Ladders, and Chairs. So I'm going to go ahead and get the show booked up and we can get ready to see what happens. Alright, so I got the show booked up. Here's what I got in store tonight. First off, we're going to have Randy Orton versus Apollo Crews in an Extreme Rules match at the pay-per-view. Apollo Crews won a tables match against Randy Orton, and now their rivalry is at 1 apiece, and it's starting to build. So I thought this would be a nice blow-off match to kind of do a pretty solid opener, because one of Triple H's suggestions coming out of the pay-per-view is we got to have a good solid opener and a good solid main event, so I thought this would be a good opportunity. Plus, Triple H commissioner goal this week is to ensure that Randy Orton fights this week. So it gets him on the card, and it lets him and Apollo Crews kind of blow off their feud. We're going to see a call out Toni Storm or Charlotte Flair again. I did this at the pay-per-view thinking that Charlotte Flair might win. Well, now I guess I can say Toni Storm's going to come out and she's going to say to Charlotte, like, wow, you lost the pay-per-view. Don't know if you'll win later tonight. So we'll get to that in a minute. And she wants the next dibs at the Queen, win or lose tonight. And in the big card, I want to give Montez Ford a chance to shine. He's going to go up against Finn Balor, one of the top stars here on SmackDown. A step up for him. And I'm going to give Kofi Kingston a chance to do a promo. He lost the championship at the pay-per-view. He came to me and said that he wanted to show off his mic skills, and I said, why not? So Kofi Kingston has a self-promo. I think the goal of this one is with TLC being the next pay-per-view, him and Reigns at 1 apiece, they can finally blow off their feud at that show in a TLC match for the Universal Championship. So that is my goal with that. And in the main event, a rematch, a championship rematch. Natalya, who just won the title, puts it on the line against Charlotte Flair. So I think this is a pretty good show. I'm hoping it helps us compete with Raw this week. But let's go ahead and confirm and see what happens. Alright, so we're going to start off. Yes, we are also in the Thunderdome. We have upgraded our stadium again, and we are officially in a arena. So no more high school gyms, no more concert halls. This is going to be SmackDown in the Thunderdome, although it's, real fans in there, whatever. But starting off with the Extreme Rules match, Randy Orton, who's not happy that he lost at the pay-per-view. And he owns a win over Apollo Crews, but Apollo Crews got the best of him, powerbombed him through the table in the corner. So Randy not very happy about that, probably still feeling the effects. He gets a chance tonight to go up against Crews, who, coming off probably the biggest win of his career, he knocked off Randy Orton. But we'll have to see if it was a fluke. Putting somebody through a table, yes, you win the match. But on the same coin, he never really pinned the man, so Crews is yet to hold a pinfall victory over Randy Orton. So this is a chance for Crews to prove tonight that he can beat Orton in a one-on-one contest. So without further ado, we're going to get the show hopefully start off on a hot note. It's Randy Orton versus Apollo Crews in an Extreme Rules match. And here we go. We are officially started with this week's show. Whoever wins this wins the rivalry and takes a step up in the show rankings, as Orton quickly takes Apollo Crews down to the mat, hoping to get the best of him in this exchange. as he would love to win the match. And honestly, from a biased perspective, I'd probably want Randy Orton to win this match too. He is one of our bigger stars. Yes, I am a fan of Apollo Crews, and I do think he has some potential between his size, speed, and athleticism. But Orton is, a multi-time champion, Hall of Famer. He should be one of the standout men on our brand. So I'd like to see Orton get that popularity up. If Kingston wins back the title, Orton could be a guy that he could feud with. And I have pretty big plans for Orton as to feature him in the second half of this series. So we'll see if he's my pick, or quote-unquote hopeful pick, to win tonight, as there's a nice belly-to-belly suplex on the outside, on the apron, as both superstars have taken it to the floor. As Orton, though, as I say that, will jump back in the ring, and Apollo Crews will follow. So this is an Extreme Rules match, so weapons are allowed. I will say in the past, I don't think WWE 2k22 does a great job of incorporating weapons for superstars, so hopefully somebody will grab like a kendo stick or a chair or something tonight. I like to see some weapons in this matchup. But Orton right now in firm control of this contest, stomping away on the corner of Crews. Now has Crews lined up and delivers a knee to the side of the skull. As Orton, this is methodical Orton offense. Trademark Orton offense. Just slow-paced, methodical, wear your opponent down. A lot of stomps, a lot of kicks. And Orton's really starting to feel himself in the early parts of this matchup. I think it's Crews back to his feet, but Crews catches Orton and delivers a modified slam. Very good show of power there by Apollo Crews. And yes, he's going to go to the outside. He's going to introduce the first weapon into this, a baseball bat. Apollo Crews has, and he wheels it right in the face of Orton, right between the eyes. Apollo Crews taking out frustration on Orton, delivering the bat into the ribs of Orton multiple times. Now connects with a powerbomb onto Orton's shoulders are down, but only gets a 1 count. But that's what I hope to see more in this matchup. I'd like to see Apollo Crews tap into his aggressive side, and I'd like to see more weapons be involved. Now Crews perched up on the top turnbuckle, waiting for Orton to get back to his feet, and it looks like he might have clipped him. I think he was going for like an elbow of some sorts. I mean, Orton goes down, but I think Crews also caught some of that exchange, but not seem like it's bothering him too much as he has Orton up for a running power slam. Down goes the Viper, and now Crews has taken all control in this contest thanks to that introduction of the baseball bat. As now here's a German suplex train, delivers one. That's a second one, maybe going for the hat trick. A third German suplex. And Apollo Crews once again grabs the bat and just wearing out Orton. A couple of shots across the spine. And Crews has really established him. Orton is in some trouble now, as Orton needs to probably get a weapon of his own, but this could be it. Hold up. Pinning attempt here by Crews. He gets 2, but Orton does kick out at 2 and stays alive in this contest. Apollo Crews posing for the fans, been very happy with his work. I don't know what's next for Apollo Crews if he does win this match. Maybe he'll get a step up in competition, as now he's up on the top rope. Orton in the drop zone, gets the knees up on the splash attempt. And now Orton with the bat. This is dangerous. Orton swinging away on Crews, wearing down his opponent. Strikes after strikes after strikes, but Crews gets back to his feet and connects with a flying clothesline. Crews maybe on a little bit of adrenaline here. Tries to take it back to the Viper, not allow him to gain too much momentum in this contest. As now it seems like Crews is back into control after a couple of shots from that baseball bat. There's a nice suplex attempt there on Orton that flips him over. Orton quickly back to his feet. There connects with a knee to the back, and then a backwards clothesline drives Crews down. Pretty back and forth contest in the recent moments. So now Orton's going to take his competitor, drive him into the far turnbuckle, perch him up on the second rope. And Orton, what's he got in mind here? Shot to Crews. And Orton might be thinking superplex here. No, he's going to turn around. Is he thinking super RKO? Orton has Crews on the top rope. A super RKO to Crews. Orton from the top. That could be it. Flips Crews over. Goes for the pin. Gets 1, 2, and yes, 3. Orton with a super RKO picks up the victory and notches the final chapter in this rivalry. A big win here for Orton. He gets the win despite getting drilled with the baseball bat quite a few times early. Orton was able to emerge victorious after that move right there. The super RKO. Look at it again. Crews, no way he was kicking out of that. And Orton is victorious. Hopefully, That was a pretty solid opener. Let's see what rating we get. As, hold up, Orton actually in the corner. I can't skip this. Is he thinking... Well, I thought he was thinking punt kick there. But, okay, there we go. 3.5, so I think that's pretty good. It's better than the 2 stars we usually get. So a nice 3.5 star match to kick off the show. Alright, now a call out from Toni Storm. This one I'm a little worried about because I'm not overly sold on Toni Storm's mic skills. It works at the pay-per-view tonight. It gets an excellent promo. So Toni Storm showing off some mic skills. I like to see that. So far, show off to a good start. Now time for Montez Ford versus Finn Balor. So let's try to keep the momentum rolling going into the second match of the night. And making his way to the ring, who is one of the most popular stars here on SmackDown, Montez Ford. He didn't have a match at the pay-per-view. I'll have to try to make sure that doesn't happen next time. I think Montez Ford is a very good competitor, one we want to showcase now. I think he's finally starting to tap into that potential that we see. We'll have to see if he can take care of Finn Balor here tonight, though, as he has a pretty tough task of vast improvement as he's beating the likes of Chad Gable on SmackDown, but now he gets to step up in competition with Finn Balor, who is not a happy camper. Finn Balor did have a match at WrestleMania Backlash against Big E. He came up unsuccessful in that encounter, fell victim to the big ending that netted Big E the win. While Finn Balor thinks he deserves a Universal Championship opportunity, he's going to have to get stepped down the rung after that loss. And he has a chance, though, to bounce back here tonight against Montez Ford as he get ready for the second matchup of the night. Get a pretty solid middle of the card show, I hope. Montez Ford versus Finn Balor. Pretty interesting clash of styles, and we are underway. In terms of this match, I kind of want to use this match to showcase Montez Ford, and I'm hoping that Montez Ford picks up the victory. I like the fact that he's one of the most popular stars that we have on SmackDown, and I'm hoping a win helps him just further go up the card, because I mean, if Montez Ford continues to improve at this rate, Montez Ford could very likely have a Universal Championship match in his near future. So I'd like to see Montez Ford continue picking up wins. Yes, Finn did lose at the pay-per-view, so I'd like to see him get a bounce back, but you know, I want to go all in on Ford. I think I want Ford to be a player here on SmackDown in the second half of the series, because it's only a 15-week series, you know, shorter series. Probably should have did 25 weeks, but this is a 15-week MyGM series, so I think it got to pull the trigger, and you got to pull the trigger fast if we want to beat Raw. And I want Montez Ford to get that opportunity at a potential championship match. But right now, Finn Balor is in control of Ford. Hits a nice German suplex, and Ford gets folded into the mat. As far as Finn Balor goes, I mean, he's technically a heel, so he's somebody right now that we could definitely use at the top of the card as a heel, and he definitely has some popularity. But I don't really know what to do. I don't know what to do with Finn Balor right now. I mean, he's lost at the pay-per-view to Big E, which is Kofi Kingston's buddy, and Kofi Kingston is currently the #1 contender for the Universal Championship. So I'm not really sure right now what to do with Finn Balor. I think just kind of using him in this spotlight matchup for now might be a good idea. I mean, he is still pretty popular, so I'd like to get Finn Balor maybe on TLC. The only match that I know I am for sure doing is going to be Roman Reigns versus Kofi Kingston in a TLC match for that Universal Championship. I also think I'm going to do Charlotte Flair and Toni Storm in some sense, maybe for the championship, may not. Just depends if Charlotte wins in our main event here tonight, and that'll be some sort of matchup. But and then Montez Ford, I want to get on the card. But other than that, it's a pretty wide open show. We got 4 matches we got to fill, and I think 2 of them might be set. So that gives an opportunity maybe for Montez Ford to have a match, Finn Balor to try to find his way on the card as Ford goes for a big splash off the top rope. He connects on to Finn Balor, who's been pretty dominant in the early facets of this matchup. So maybe that's the opportunity that Ford needs as he hits a couple of standing shooting star presses now. And now Ford hopes to get back into this matchup. For a right hand, though, but Balor will catch him, drive him back into the corner, but Ford will fight out of it and connects with a nice, looks like a backwards elbow that drops Finn to the mat as Montez Ford trying to sustain his momentum here in the mid stages of the match. Now he's going to quickly go up to the top rope. This could be thinking frog splash time. No, he's going to go for another big splash down. Connects again across the sternum of Balor. Maybe Balor's in some trouble. Montez Ford is starting to get rolling. Now connecting with a couple of combination shots and a Hurricane Rana takedown for good measure. As Montez forward in control. Now lining up in the corner. Thinking maybe to put Finn Balor away here. Balor turns around. What does Ford have in mind? He's going to go for, I think, a blockbuster there, but Finn counter with a back body drop. And now Finn quickly goes up to the top rope. Balor is there. And he connects with a Hurricane Rana takedown of his own. Holds the pin. Has it across the shoulders, but Ford does kick out at 1. So Ford will stay alive, but a pretty back and forth exchange. Ford went for it there, and Balor did counter. And that could be the opening that Balor needs to get back into this contest as we start to get into the final leg with the finish coming soon. I think Balor looking to put away Ford here. Lifts him up, drops him down, and Balor in control. Gets Ford back to his feet. He's going to drive him into the ropes. See what Balor has in mind here. Ties up that left arm. Maybe just working away on your competitor. It's not Balor with a, looks like an STO. Down goes Ford. Ford now for the cover. Balor this to win the match, but Ford kicks out at 1 again. So good resiliency being shown here by Montez as he refused to go down for even a 2 count. But Balor elevated DDT brainbuster combination. You can say one or the other. Regardless, it's a pin attempt here for Balor as he goes for 1, gets 2, and he gets the victory over Montez Ford. So Balor bounces back in the win column. Ford, unfortunately for him, unable to pick up the victory here tonight. But maybe this could be the start of a rivalry between Ford and Balor. Balor gets the first chapter. Although hopefully continue to keep these guys going. But it is a big win for Balor. Hopefully Ford's momentum isn't cut off too much. Let's see what we got for this match. We got a 2.5 stars. So I think that's, like it says, it's okay. It's middle of the road. I think for the first match in a feud, it's not a bad one. So hopefully, we continue to keep some momentum. And now it's time for the main event. For the main event, though, Kofi Kingston wanted a chance for a self-promo, so we'll see how Kingston does. And he gets excellent. So Kofi Kingston said he could talk, and it looks like he can as he gets +4, I guess, in the popularity department. So a good win for Kingston as he gets ready for his championship rematch. But speaking of championship rematch, it's time for the main event. Charlotte Flair gets her rematch against Natalya. So main event time here in Pittsburgh for SmackDown as we have a championship match. Only the second championship match we put on TV. I'm hoping Raw's been doing it a lot, almost kind of just like overkill with championship opportunities on the TV show. So we kind of have to follow in that same footsteps. I think this is a very good match to put on. Natalya defends the championship in an immediate rematch against the former champion in Charlotte. So Charlotte Flair lost the championship at WrestleMania Backlash. And she's looking to regain the title tonight. But she's got to do it against the new SmackDown Women's Champion, Natalya, who makes her way to the ring. Pretty big win for her at the pay-per-view. You can see the gold around her waist. I mean, she is on top of the world right now. And how could you not? I mean, the run that Natalya has put herself on in recent weeks has been incredible. Beat Sasha Banks in what was considered an upset for the #1 contenders match, and then at the pay-per-view one-upped herself when she beat Charlotte Flair and won the gold. But she has quite the task for her tonight as that title is going to be on the line. An immediate rematch, the second chapter in this feud. As it is time for championship introductions, there is the challenger, the former SmackDown Women's Champion, Charlotte Flair, who wants nothing more, nothing else than to regain the gold. But she has to go up against her, Natalya, the champion, for a reason, as we get ready to write the next chapter in this Flair-Hart rivalry. As Natalya holds up the gold with pride, is it the last time Natalya is going to hold up the gold, or will she be able to notch title defense #1 against the Queen, the opportunity herself? Natalya took advantage of that opportunity in their first clash at the pay-per-view, and now we get it again. Natalya versus Flair 2 for the SmackDown Women's Championship. And we get ready for our main event. Both superstars look ready to go. And it is time, and we ring the bell. SmackDown Women's Championship on the line here in our main event. And Natalya quickly goes behind and hits a nice German suplex there on Charlotte Flair. Well, we've talked about the run that Natalya's been on She's made it to the mountaintop, but we've seen plenty of times in the past where superstars get hot, they get to the mountaintop, and then once they get there, they either get complacent or they kind of just start to cool off. Once you get to that peak, I mean, it's a whole different ball game to stay there. I mean, you can go win the championship, but to make title defense after title defense takes a very special type of performer. It makes you have to tap into another gear, another switch, and we'll see if Natalya can do it. She's been SmackDown Women's Champion in the past. I mean, that was a few years ago, so this is maybe another chance for Natalya to say, I can do it again, but she's got to go up against Charlotte Flair, who right now Natalya is looking very good against. German suplex again to Charlotte Flair. Natalya getting the best of her in this early contest. But we've seen Charlotte Flair be in this opportunity, in this predicament before. Hold up, we got to cover here to retain the championship. Natalya going for it early, but only gets a 1 count on Charlotte Flair. If you remember the last SmackDown, Charlotte in the main event competed up against Dakota Kai. And Kai, I don't want to say dominated, but had firm control of probably the first 2/3 of that matchup, and I honestly thought Charlotte Flair was going to lose that match, but she tapped into that tank that, you know, Charlotte Flair has. I mean, multi-time champion, one of the best women's superstars of all time, and she was able to pick up the victory. I thought maybe that would happen at Backlash, but it did not. But now Charlotte Flair gets powerbombed on the outside. She's been pretty dominated in the early moments of this match, but we've seen this before. We'll have to see if Charlotte Flair can bounce back like she did in that match against Dakota Kai and emerge victorious with the championship as he drags Natalya head first off of the apron, as both superstars now down on the floor. No countouts in this matchup, just pinfalls or submissions. And both superstars fight to the outside, almost going up against the table. Actually, Charlotte Flair just bounced off the table as they go into the timekeeper's area. I mean, this is some bad blood between these two. The rivalry has grown in recent weeks, and I mean, if you want to talk about history, I mean, Flair and Hart, I mean, those two families have so much history, you know, back to Bret Hart and Ric Flair days. I mean, Charlotte Flair and Natalya even have history. Charlotte Flair, remember, beat Natalya for her very first ever championship in WWE, the NXT Women's Championship at the time. Bret Hart and Charlotte Flair, and Ric Flair, were actually at ringside for that match. There's a nice Alabama slam there by Natalya, so plenty of history to tap into against these two, which means plenty of bad blood between them. As Natalya has made her way into the ring, Charlotte Flair will follow. And now Natalya has Charlotte Flair, a nice double underhook suplex there. And Natalya probably took it back to the ring. She's feeling pretty good about herself, but she can only win inside the ring. There is no champion's advantage unless there is a DQ involved, as there is no countouts. But Charlotte Flair looking to bounce back into this contest. A couple of chops, those signature Flair chops, but Natalya will counter, and she'll pick Flair up and drive her down. Nice Michinoku driver there by Natalya, and now she's starting to work away on her challenger. She gets Flair back to the feet. Thought kick, but Flair does catch it. And now Flair, a couple of strikes. It's just straight fists now, and then a big boot drops Natalya to the mat. Natalya could be in trouble now. That big boot could be the difference maker, as it has given Charlotte Flair control in this contest. And now she's starting to work away. Goes for the cover now to win the championship. Gets 2, but Natalya will kick out at 2, and the match will roll on. Charlotte Flair will take Natalya off of her feet, or on her feet. Kick to the midsection, and drops her down with a nice neck breaker, neck across the shoulder. And yes, that big boot has turned the tide in this matchup. As now Charlotte Flair, hold up, maybe thinking figure 8 here, has locked it in. And can she bridge? She will. Figure 8 in on Natalya. Natalya did not tap at the pay-per-view, but will she tap tonight? Championship on the line. Will Natalya give up, or will Charlotte have to continue the offense? Natalya trying back and forth, does not give up, but with the damage done, Flair goes for the pin to win the championship. Gets 1, gets 2, and gets it. Charlotte Flair wins the SmackDown Women's Championship, and Natalya's reign has, unfortunately for her, come to an end. The pain was just too much. She didn't tap out to the figure 8s, but she had no energy left after being in the hold for a long time. And in terms of Charlotte Flair, all is right in the world as she has regained her SmackDown Women's Championship. But both, just like kinks in the ring is these two superstars are at 1 apiece, and maybe we'll have to have a match at some point. But I think we are going to move on from this for the time being. And our main event netted us 3 stars, so that's pretty solid. And our rivalry goes, but I do think that might be the end of the rivalry, but I might not. We'll have to see what happens next, but all we know is Charlotte Flair is your new SmackDown Women's Champion. Well, I thought we put together a pretty solid show. So we had a 3.5 star match in the opener, a 3-star match in our main event, and a 2.5 in the mid-card. Now let's see what Raw can do. They start off with Triton and Kyle O'Reilly versus Joaquin Wild and Red Monsoon. So a rematch for the pay-per-view. And in their opener is the team of Triton and Kyle O'Reilly, who are victorious again, and that got them 2.5 stars. So we did outperform them in the opening contest. Now Lana calls out Shayna Baszler again. This rivalry is at a 4, so this could be a good one. And it was a good promo. Lana got the promo on Shayna Baszler. Now mid-card, Otis versus Damian Priest, 1-on-1. And it looks like Damian Priest will be victorious in a 1.5 disappointing match. So far, we've actually done better than Raw this week. This is pretty good. And then Rhea Daivari with a charity promo just gets okay, but they do gain 5,000 fans. That could help them out. In their main event TLC preview, it looks like Becky Lynch versus Bayley. A little worried about this one. Bayley gets the victory, is still your champ, and that was a 4.5 star classic. So their main event did blow away our main event. But I think overall, I mean, we had a star advantage in the beginning, then we had another star advantage, so 2-star, and then they did better by 1.5 stars. So I think overall we had a better show than Raw, I think, for the first time. It showed quality of a C with the match quality of a C. And it looks like we gained 58,000 fans for a 1.47. And we do get the power card. While Raw on the hand C, they did have B match quality. They gained 64,000 fans, 1.5. So I think we are still behind Raw in the fans. And I think they did better than us. I thought, other than the main event, we did better in every other category. And it's not my fault. They just want to throw the same match over and over again. So that was a little disappointing. But we're now 3 weeks away. And it says, Dakota Kai, I got a couple of messages. He says, hey, my contract at SmackDown is up at the end of the week. We'll have to decide if we want to keep Dakota Kai around. I'd be interested in staying, and the cost would be $58,000. So we could either say, thanks for your work, Dakota. We could say, okay. Or we could try to counteroffer. I was impressed with Dakota Kai in her matchup, but I do think I am okay with letting Dakota Kai go. So we're just going to say okay, wish her the best, and maybe we will bring her back in. Great, look forward to staying. Oh, well, actually just re-signed her. Well, that was not my intention, but I guess Dakota Kai is staying around on SmackDown. I guess we'll be able to use her. Just another caution, now that Cruz has a stamina level below 40, he's vulnerable to becoming injured. The lower the stamina, the more strenuous the match, the greater that risk becomes. Alright, so we do have to watch out for Apollo Crews, but I think he will probably get the week off. Superstars who are completely rested will recover 12 stamina points in a week. Those who cut a promo will recover 6 and can't become injured that week. So maybe we'll have him cut a promo. Meanwhile, to Tamina, I haven't had any matches in a while, and the fans are starting to forget about me. I don't really know how much fans Tamina has. But it's time you woke up and put me back where I belong. I want a match in the next show. Okay, well, we'll give Tamina a match. I don't think so, sure thing. And how about cutting a promo? So yeah, we'll give Tamina a match. Maybe she'll take on Dakota Kai. But we will put Tamina in a match. Then Montez Ford. Hey, Pierce, you've seen the work I've been putting in now, but I know I can do more for the brand. Montez Ford, I'm ready to run a main event match, and I know the fans will be excited for it. Well, we did lose. This would mean a lot to me in my career. What do you say? Maybe next week could be the chance for Montez Ford to break out. Yeah, we're going to give Montez Ford the opportunity next week in the main event. So we'll have to get ready for that match. But you can see on the ratings, we kind of went back and forth with Raw. So hopefully we'll have to keep it going as we get ready to cross the halfway point. But that's another show in the books. We'll continue to build towards TLC. But I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you did, make sure you drop that like and you subscribe down below, especially if you want more Universe Mode content. This is Mr. Rob, and I'll see you in the next one.